Very good morning, all of you. A very warm and pleasant morning to our esteemed resource persons, respectfully faculty members, distinguished participant, research scholar, and guests joining us from across the country. I, Biman Mondol, on behalf of the School of Applied Science and Humanities, Haldia Institute of Technology, in association with the Internal Quality Assurance Cells, warmly welcomes you all to day 4 of our one-week national level faculty development program on thriving together, communications, mental wellness, collaborative excellence in higher education. It is our privilege to welcome Dr. Chayan Kanti Manna, Assistant Professor, Department of Psychiatry, ICARE Medical College, Haldia, West Bengal, as our distinguished resource persons for today's session. Dr. Manna completed his MD in Psychiatry from AIMS Patna after obtaining his MBBS from the College of Medicine and JNM Hospital, Kalyani. With over 7 years of clinical experience, he has worked extensively in academic institutions and tertiary care hospitals. Each area of expertise include stress, anxiety, depressions, addiction psychiatry, sleep orders, and community mental health. Dr. Manna has published several research papers in reputed journals, received multiple academic awards, and is a regular speaker at national conference. His scholarly excellence has been recognized through several prestigious honors, including SAS&H Award for the Best Postgraduate Thesis Presentations and multiple National Psychiatric Quiz Award. Alongside its academic and clinical responsibilities, he actively promotes the mental health awareness through education and community outreach. Today, Dr. Manna will deliver a session on stress management for faculty well-being, practical approaches to the managing academic and professional pressure. We are confident that this session will provide valuable insight into understanding workplace stress, building resilience, and adopting practical strategies to enhance the personal well-being and professional effectiveness in higher educations. With great pleasure and gratitude, I invite Dr. Chayan Kanti Manna to deliver his address. Over to you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good morning to all the faculties and other staff members, academic members from HIT, and all the other dignitaries and all the audiences who have joined from different part of Bengal or maybe from around our country. So already I have been introduced a nice introduction from Mr. Biman Mondal. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the introduction. So without further ado, I am starting today's discussion, which have been given to me, that is the stress management for faculty well-being. So stress, we all know, it is like nowadays after COVID, it is very much universal and people are coming out with various problems, and whenever we studies, we take history from them, we get to know that all these problems, both physical and mental, they are some or maybe most of the part is related to stress. And stress is something which we cannot avoid, and stress can be different, and for different person, different workplace, different age group, for different gender, it is also different. And the type of stress is different, manifestation more or less same, or management is also different. So here today we are going to discuss stress related to the faculties or the academic members. So the academic members, their stress or their problem is something different from other people, from normal people, or from students, or maybe someone who is working in other corporate areas. So it is different, and in today's discussion we'll discuss this stress, what are the various type of stress and how it is different in faculty or in academic perspective. Then we'll discuss about what are the various causative factors both biologically, socially, and cognitively, that are making this stress to distress and different type of problem. And the last part, which is the main part of this discussion, is how to manage. So to start with, we'll start with a little bit demographical data, and the number you can see, it is in bold letter. It is very like 50% covering the slide. That is hidden epidemic 40%. So as per the ICMR studies, that is faculty, they take this data from mostly engineering and medical colleges, but it is applicable to all the academic faculties also. So there is 40% rise of the stress and burnout. Burnout means if the stress is overwhelming and it cannot be controlled at all, it needs medical attention, that means it is burnout. So excessive level of stress is turned into burnout, and it is almost 40% rise in last 5 years. And what happens that we academic people, we are very much busy towards the students. We take care of the emotional health of the or other health of the students. Maybe every time we take care of our family, but most of the time what happens that we ignore our own health, we ignore our own mental condition, and we suffer a lot if we compare with students or other family members. So this is the paradox that higher the achievers, which we can say the academic people, they are often last to recognize their own stress. And if you should remember that your mental health is your greatest professional asset, and if we want to continue our career smoothly for long time, along with we give our time to family and enjoy the life, so then we have to understand, identify the stress, and we have to act accordingly. So whatever I started in the beginning, that the academic people, their stress is little bit different from the other people who are working in corporate structure. So if we go through the difference, that in corporate setup, in any corporate setup, so there is hierarchy is defined, that you will start in this position, after 2 years or 3 years you will go to that position. There is known like performance indicator, that you have to reach this target, this much of sales or this much of work, then you will get the promotion or then you will get the incentive, right, that way. But in academic criteria, in academic structure, the promotion criteria is very ambiguous. We don't know exactly how much paper we have to publish, how much students we have to give like good result, by which we will get the promotion. So the promotional criteria is ambiguous in academic setup. Also the boundary, like in corporate office or in other type of work field, then it is 9 to 5. So you come to the office, you do your work, after 5, maybe it extend to 6 or 7, but then you stop your work, you do other things, you spend time with family, you do your own things. But in academic perspective, what happened that you are always on, maybe after the work, even when there is no class, even when the college is sorry, even when the college is stopped or closed, then also you have to be busy in preparing, maybe preparing questions, maybe like checking the papers, maybe attending the research or some other things. So you are always on. And what happened in for the investment perspective, they invest on product or service for other people, the corporate setup. But in your case, in academic setup, what happens that you are not only like investing your like intellectualization or energy or your workload only to something product or service. You are investing your everything into some people, and that's why apart from like the normal day-to-day practice, you have to be emotionally attached, otherwise you cannot work in academic setup. So that is again it increase the stress level because you are emotionally invested. And that's why you are oh sorry that's why you are managing the people also, the knowledge also. So it is also more training compared to the corporate setup. So now we come to the academic setup. In academic setup, there are triple threat. Not only you are, like I discussed in the previous slide, that you are not only like dealing with the some product or some service. Here there are three things you are dealing simultaneously as a whole. Like one, we can say the first one is research. So you have to publish something, you have to do continuous research, making methodologies, permission, grant, and after doing the research you have to go for the journal to publication. It many times gets rejected. So it is also one type of stress, that I have to do research, I have to take the grant, I have to publish it in journals. So it is one type of work. Another thing is teaching. Teaching is another type of work you are doing simultaneously along with research. So in teaching, you have to evaluate the student, you have to make question paper, you have to answer the questions, you have to answer the queries, you have to make projects and other things. You have to help the students in passing the exam. So there is that is the second part of your work. And apart from this research and teaching, there are third part also, that is the administrative meeting, the committee work, the group discussions, the accreditation work. So there are three types of work you have to do it simultaneously, and that makes your job more complicated. And when it is more complicated, it becomes more vulnerable also. So if you consider your three type of job simultaneously, as this picture showing legs of the stool. So if one leg is broken, then also the whole stool started wobbling. And again, if any part in, if you are like having stress in service, or maybe you are having stress in teaching, or maybe you are having stress in research, or maybe all of the three or any two, so any of the circumstances you are feeling problem. So again, we continuing with the last slide, that the silent saboteur or imposter syndrome. What happened, you are always continuously on, because in a highly academic setup, like in your setup, what happens that despite you are having all the degrees, you have having all the good publications, and you yourself know that you are good, you are competent enough, but you always have something going inside, that maybe someone will ask a question, and if I don't know the answer, people will think that I am not good enough. So that is called the imposter syndrome. It is not really happening, but it is happening inside your mind. So it is not like that everyone is expecting that you are going to answer everything, you are going to perform, you are all the research is going to accept by the journals, all the group meetings, all the academic meetings, you are going to perform good. But inside your mind, you think that this is I have to do, I have to be good enough, I have to be completed everything at time, and that makes you always in hurry, always in age. And that's why you, what you do over prepare, you extend your work hour, you may deprive your sleep, you may deprive your family, you may not get take adequate rest or enjoyment. You put all those things, all the other things which is necessary for living a healthy life, you put all the other things aside, and you focus on only to achieve this answering questions, committing the work, fulfilling the journals and other things. So if we reframe it, that competence is not the absence of doubt, it is the management of doubt. But many times we forget it, and we do it excessively stretching our work, and that may lead to stress. Now, problem with our academic or our student related. So it is there is a role conflict between the nurture and the evaluator. So what happened, that we regularly as academic person deals with the students, and uh, maybe we consider a major part of our like job is to deal with the student. So what happens, students, they are coming to classes, many times they are not coming to the classes, they have the doubt many times. Some students are very good that they can challenge your academics, and many times students are so bad that you search for that how to teach the students. So there is always some emotional conflict that how to manage the students. Students are they come from various background, various knowledge level, various intellectual level, various language, cultural differences, and we have to deal with that. So that is the emotional part we are doing. And again, the evaluator part. So what happened that we have to grade. We sometimes we have to scold the student. Sometimes we have to take harsh management. Suppose a student is not listening or not coming, most of the time being absent, so we have to take strict decision. And then again, this thing like sorry, so this emotional versus this critical, this both role we have to manage simultaneously, and we have to always make a balance so that we give the best from us, and we will take the best out from students, and each and every students, and every time the student sections are changing every year. So that also makes us makes the situation difficult. Next, what happened after the internet evolution happened in India, so we have WhatsApp, email, and many other apps through which we are always on, always in contact. Like also this meeting is happening in online based. So previously 20-30 years back, so people have much time, more time for themselves. But nowadays, because internet and the newer technologies that has been so widespread, so much increased and so much change, that we are always on. So that means there is blood boundaries between the people. So you are never off your job. So maybe you are not in the place where you are working, but through email, through WhatsApp, through other messaging app, or through internet, you are always connected. And this always connection makes the blood digital boundaries, and people expect that you will always reply instantly. And what happens when you are going to be available every time? So what happens, many times you are driving, maybe you are enjoying your meal, or maybe you are spending time with family, but as the WhatsApp notification comes, or may some other things, you are then started replying, started thinking about what is the work has come and what to do. So that makes you no off switch, we are always on. And that makes causing that makes increase sympathetic activation, and again increase stress level. Also for the students, what we have discussed in last slide, that for students also, apart from the regular classroom teaching or the examination or some group discussion, we have to deal with the students personally. So many times students come to you personally, they can reach you over the call, over the message, and may meet you personally. And again, you have to put your own emotion, your own time and your own resources to make the to clear the problem of the students. That is again makes you more stressful. So what happened that although we have some few we have the fixed work schedule, but for in academic structure, it never happens that we work only for the fixed work schedule. Rather than we work almost 24 hours. Maybe we are sleeping that time also, we are thinking about either our research or some academic programs, or maybe related to students, maybe some other things. So we are always on. So that lead to this stress. So in these slides we have discussed that why academic faculties or in academic institute the stress level develop, because of in summary, because of the research, because of the multiple type of works, because always on work culture. So stress level is continuously building. So now we'll discuss biologically, socially, and cognitively how this stress level build up and how it is affecting our body. So what happened that stress level for stress, it's not like that ki we have to we don't have any stress. So no stress at all, it is also a problematic. So stress, a minimum amount of stress makes us activate, makes our attention, makes our intellectualization, all other things in optimum level. So we need minimum amount of stress in our life every day. otherwise will not work in optimal level. So if there is no stress at all, people are not thinking anything, not getting ready, not getting being prepared, so that is also bad thing. So if we see this stress performance curve, so if there is some optimal level, so the optimal level of stress, so it is okay, so then you will become focused, you will be in creative state, and you will perform your job perfectly. So that is the optimal level of stress, and that is called eustress. So if we are in eustress level, so it is okay. But what happen if after that level the stress level is increasing gradually again and again, so our brain, our body cannot cope up with that. So if stress level so if stress level is increasing gradually over the time, and our body and our mind cannot cope up with that stress, so that become from eustress to distress. And when there is distress, we started getting some type of physical symptoms, maybe palpitation, maybe sweating, maybe increased heart rate, increased respiration, or maybe abdominal problem, abdominal cramps, following which we get the mental problem like anxiety, cognitive distortion, memory loss, impaired sleep. So based on so if all the above things is going happen, so it will affect our both body and mind, and that will lead to decrease in our performance. So eustress is okay, but if stress level is continuously increasing, that will create the distress, and this distress level will hamper both our mind, body, and our workflow also. So this the biological part, the autonomic nervous system. So autonomic nervous system is evolutionary model. So what happened, like before, like 10,000 years back maybe, so we used to live in the jungle, and there is cave, and all the, like, we have to fight every day with animals, like violent animals, and there is always chance of death. And because we have animal sorry, if we consider human with other mammals, maybe tiger, lion, or maybe anything, any animal, so we are not physically as competent compared to other mammals that are present nowadays. And like 10,000 years back, there are many other type of animals there, now they are extinct because thanks to man. Okay. But so we cannot compete with them physically, so our body makes this system, this sympathetic system. Sympathetic system is, if body sense that something is coming which is like dangerous to us, so what we'll do, either if we can see that we can fight with that, so we will fight, or otherwise we'll flight, so we'll run away. And what happened, this sympathetic system, in sympathetic system it is always flight or fight response. So what started, it increase our blood pressure, it increase our blood level to the muscles, it increase our heart rate, it increase our respiratory rate, and our muscles are ready to either to fight with that animal, or maybe we cannot fight, so we'll run away. So that way our sympathetic system developed, and the opposite to sympathetic system, that is the parasympathetic system. So parasympathetic means cool, calm, so there is no violence, no danger, no situation is good like nowadays. So like 10,000 years back, the environment was more violent, more harmful, and more dangerous to the human as a civilization, and that time we have to be always this sympathetic system ready to either to fight or to run away from the like dangerous situation. But nowadays, consider yourself right now, you are maybe sitting in a cool calm room, maybe AC is on, so temperature is also not affecting you, you are getting a good meal, so like there is no shortage of food, you are having clothes, you are having all those things that is needed to live a healthy life. So that means you are in cool, calm, and in good situation. So then your parasympathetic system is getting activated. So what it does, it lower your heart rate, it lower your BP, it increase your digestion level, it makes your brain also cool and calm. So this is the normal response, sympathetic and parasympathetic. So like in this slide you can see the gas pedal means there is increased acceleration, and parasympathetic, the brake pedal, there is stoppage or reducing everything, every physical activity that is reduced. So this is the normal thing, this sympathetic system and parasympathetic system. And from evolutionary status, we can see, we can say that sympathetic system should get affected only if the situation is dangerous to us. But what happened in stress? Suppose a student asks you a question. Suppose dean uh, comes to a sudden visit, or maybe there is like 100 of papers you left for checking. So in this small situation, although it is not dangerous, not harmful, or not life threatening, but your sympathetic system suddenly get activated. And what happens that everything, like your heart rate, blood pressure, everything gets increased. And that way, if it is activated every day because of this small situation, which is not at all harmful, dangerous, or life threatening, but it's get activated, it's get triggered daily. So what happened that our needle struck into the gas pedal, the sympathetic system. And what happens that sympathetic system becomes always on. And this always on features makes our body and brain fatigue. And with this fatigue, we develop many type of both physical and psychological symptoms. So this is I'm discussing in last slide, that anything, in any little incident, any little event, you can check by yourself, for all the people who are listening, that sympathetic system from evolutionary point of view must be activated in life threatening or very dangerous situation. It happens to us for last 10,000 or maybe 20,000 years, that we are going to get killed, we are going to die. That time only sympathetic system gets activated. But nowadays there is no such situation, no animal is attacking us, or there is maybe in some part of world there are war situation, or some like bad situation. But in your case, in here in West Bengal right now, there is no such situation that may be life threatening or dangerous or violent. But still, this type of incident, like disrespectful student, or missed deadline, or surprise admin visit, or maybe anything which is not that much of like life threatening or harmful or violent. But what happens, our sympathetic system gets activated, our heart rate increase, our digestion reduced, we feel that we have to go to the bathroom, or maybe we are sweating, our hands are shaking. So all those things, these are our sleep is reduced, we are taking help of some smoking or some type of addiction to like calm down. So all these things, these are reaction, or these are symptoms that your sympathetic system get activated. And your sympathetic system, when it's get activated for long time, it will definitely do your definitely it will changes the body structure anatomically, and psychology, and mind structure psychologically, and that will lead to some type of disorders. So nowadays you also must have seen that people from very early ages, if you compare like 50 years back, so people used to get the chronic disorder such as like diabetes, or asthma, or some kidney disorder, or maybe cardiac disorder, heart disorder, in later stage. And we from medical field, we used to say like people after 40 or after 50, they might get this type of disorder. But like 20 to 40 or 20 to 50, that year, that maybe people will get relatively symptom free or disease free. But it happened, used to happen in 50 years of back. Right now, if you say the cardiac disorder, the diabetes or cholesterol, it is increased even in 30s, in 40s, even in 20s also. In students also, you can see many students, or maybe many of you of the faculties in your late 30s, or even early 30s, you can see you have many type of physical illness such as diabetes, or maybe increased cholesterol, or kidney problem, or maybe heart problem. And if we go like 5-10 years back, we can see this sympathetic and parasympathetic system, there is overactivation of sympathetic system. You lived your life for last 5 years or 10 years always in stress, always your gas pedal become activated. Okay, you're always in hurry. You always think that every situation, everything happening, every meeting, every question, every life situation, every incident, all those things, these are causing me a life threatening, or although it is not, but you're thinking that it is life threatening or it is very dangerous situation, and that way your sympathetic system is always activated, and that activation leads to this type of problem which we are seeing nowadays. So if we go to our brain structure, so there are two type of brain structure. One is the prefrontal cortex. So prefrontal cortex, as you see in this photo, it is just behind your forehead. And as we human, this prefrontal cortex, it is very much important part of our brain. Why? Because like few slides back, I told that like 10,000 years back or maybe 20,000 years back, when human used to live in the jungle and they used to fight with the animals, and if we consider nowadays, human are physically weak compared to the other animals. You take example of any like elephant, tiger, lion, hippopotamus, anything, maybe even dogs and cows, they are also physically more stronger than us. But all the animals, everything, every living being in earth, they are present, all of them, they lives below us. If we do the ecological pyramid, human sits in the top. And why not human sits in the top? Not because they are physically very strong. Maybe dinosaurs, they were physically very strong, now they are extinct. And if we consider nowadays, maybe blue whale or I don't know, maybe tiger or leopard, they are physically more stronger than stronger animal in the world. But still, after that also, they are not leading the earth. They are not the, so they are not in the superior in ecological pyramid. So why? Even humans are physically weak. How did they climb to the ecological ladder? Because of this prefrontal cortex. This prefrontal cortex, the human brain, although human brain is smaller compared to elephant brain or tiger brain, but this prefrontal cortex, the ratio of prefrontal cortex to all the other part of brain, it is much larger in human. And this prefrontal cortex, it is responsible for our cognition. The cognition, this cognition makes us superior from all the other animals, all the other living beings present in the earth. So what happens in prefrontal cortex? Our decision making power, our memory, our intelligence, our comprehension, our insight, our judgment power, all those things, it happens in our prefrontal cortex. But if you are stressed enough, what happens? See, it is written also, it shut down and your prefrontal cortex started shrinking. So your decision getting wrong. If you are chronically stressed, your memory reduced, memory power, you started forgetting things, you are making mistakes. So if you are in more stress, so it is psychologically also devastating because your prefrontal cortex, that is going to shrink. And on the other hand, the amygdala. So amygdala is a subcortical structure. Subcortical means brain has two structure, one is cortex and one is subcortex. So cortical structure, it is also called higher brain, which is more developed and more complicated in human. And subcortical is also called the lower brain. Lower brain means the subcortical structure, the structures, these are almost similar to the in other animals we can get these subcortical structures. So this subcortical structure, so that is amygdala. So amygdala is one subcortical structure. You can, it lies deep inside the human brain. So amygdala, it is the alarm, and in amygdala, what happened? Amygdala is responsible this sympathetic system, this flight or fight attack. So what happened if you are increased stress all the time? If you are in stressful situation, your amygdala grows larger, your prefrontal cortex, it gets smaller. And if there is the amygdala become larger, so it will again create, for the stress the amygdala is getting larger, and as amygdala is getting larger, it is again causing the more stress. So it become a cycle. So amygdala grows larger, it cause increase this stressful situation and overreaction to minor stimuli. So that is again a problematic thing. Next, if we go with the hormonal level, so what happened? We have one important. There are many hormones, and what happens? Hormone are like chemical messengers. So they are produced in some gland, and from there they go to various body parts, and they help in either to increase or to reduce the that bodily function. So stress hormone is cortisol. There are many other hormones you may be familiar with. So in case of like stress, so there is cortisol. So as I told that a little bit of stress is necessary to optimal work. So cortisol in like little bit amount, it is also okay. So there is no problem. And what happened in cortisol? So cortisol level, there is biological state. In normal state, the biological state, cortisol, it increase when you wake up, then gradually it reduced. So the green structure you can see, so the cortisol level should be like that. So it increased gradually and then it reduced. So that is the normal function. But what happens when you are always in stress? So that cortisol level, it increase but it never decrease. So what happens? This cortisol level increase throughout the day. And what happens if the cortisol level increase throughout the day? So then what happens, that your sleep cycle getting disturbed. So cortisol is important to like your sleep wake cycle, that when to sleep and when to wake up, and your sleep cycle getting disturbed. Also cortisol level is very much important for memory consolidation. Memory consolidation, what it is, like we are getting different type of stimulus. Visual stimulus, we are seeing many people. We are hearing auditory stimulus, we are hearing many things. Like right now you are hearing my voice, maybe some other people are talking, maybe you are over phone, maybe you are talking with the students. So many things happen, many type of stimulus is you are getting every day. But it is not like you are remembering everything. This discussion also, like after 1 or 2 days, you will not remember everything that I am telling right now. It is normal and it happens. So what we do, we are getting the stimulus and we store it temporarily. And then when we are sleeping at night, so this temporary storage system, they convert into the constant or chronic or regular storage system. So that is called the memory consolidation. And that's why not everything we see or we hear or we touch or everything we remember few of the things. So that is called our memory consolidation. And cortisol is one of the responsible factor. There are other factors also. So cortisol is responsible for our memory consolidation. But when this cortisol level is always rise, always high, so the memory consolidation getting impaired. So what happened? You forgot name, faces, you forgot like other things also. So that will also hamper your work. Next important part for this cortisol, if high level of cortisol, it always sense that there is some distress or deficiency in food. If there is, if you are fasting, then also your cortisol level will be high, because cortisol sense that there is deficiency of your food. So what happened, that if the cortisol sense that there is deficiency of your food, it started storing food. So although we don't have like I already told that right now it is not the situation that we are having in food shortage. Maybe in famine it is there, maybe in war situation, in rebel, in other cases there will be food shortage in natural calamities. But right now there is no such situation, there is food shortage. But if cortisol level is high almost every day, your brain will sense that there is food shortage, and it will start that this cortisol, it will storage your food inside your belly, and your like you will get stress belly means you will get fat. Your food, it will not get it will convert it into fat, and it will stored into your belly, although it is not necessary. So these are few things also. Among with that, in if you are in like cortisol level always in high, so other things what happens, like head in, there will be tension headache. So you will feel headache. there is street grinding, this disrupt sleep architecture, and also if cortisol level is very high, there will be immune suppression. So if there is immune suppression, your natural immunity, your body immunity gets weak, and you will get different type of viral infection. If weather condition changes, if there is some virus or bacteria is present, or if there is some contamination or touch, so you will get infected by that infection. So you will get recurrent type, multiple times fever or other type of infection because of this higher cortisol level. Also there your heart will be affected, you will get hypertension, palpitation, and for gut thing we have already discussed. So the you can see like increased cortisol level which happens because of the stress. So your cardiac, your visceral, your abdominal, and your immune system, all those systems get weak, and you will get different type of various physical symptoms, physical illness because of that. So stress not only affect your mind or psychologically, it also affect very much your physical health also. And the last part of how stress affecting your it is psychological. So we have discussed till now the physical things which is happening, and in psychologically what happens, we have cognitive distortion. Cognitive distortion means some symptoms or some incident happened, from that we interpret something devastating is going to happen. So we are telling some type of cognitive bias. One is catastrophizing. Catastrophizing means if research, I'm giving example, you may check similar type of example in your life also. Like if this paper, the research paper, this gets rejected, so my career is over. So this is catastrophizing. Means something happened and we think that the end result is very much bad. Then should statements. Should statement means I should work on weekend, I should reply instantly. So again it is a cognitive distortion. Next, personalization. If anything happen in your workplace, you think that is happening because of you only. Student failed because of my bad teaching, one of the example. So these are thoughts, so these are not facts, but we used to think that way if we are having huge stress. So continuing with the previous slide, that if the paper gets rejected or if the student fails an exam, so we do like that, and we this is not actually happening, but we are thinking that this is happening, and we started having anxiety, we are started having sympathetic nervous system activation. So that lead to this CBT, the perfect teacher myth. We always believe we have to be perfect. We have to be perfect in academics. We have to be perfect in research. We have to be perfect in management, with the management, with the meetings, with the other type of curriculum and activities. Okay, and if it is not happening, so what, anything happen in your teaching life, in your research life, or maybe in management or related to some other meetings, so what we believe that this is bad, I am bad and I am incompetent, that makes me bad, and that leads to this anxiety and other type of psychological symptoms. So till now we have discussed various type of like how stress is affecting our body and how stress is affecting our psychologically. So I take few of the example from my side, but you can see from your side also, you can compare your life event also, and you can see these things is happening. Not maybe the example I have shown, but some example which are similar to your life that is happening, and all those things, this is lead to create an impact both in your physical and mental health. So that way we understand how stress is a problematic things and how it is affecting your mind and body both, and in long term definitely you are going to have a very bad life. So that's why we have to manage the stressful situation, otherwise it will not helpful from your side and from societal point of view also. Like the institute also will not get beneficial from you if you are in stressful, if this is for the management people, like if all the employee they are having stressful situation, so it will not help in future also. So for optimum workforce, for the optimum result, we have to make a healthy environment and stress less environment. In that way, not zero stress, the eustress environment. In that way we can get the majority output, and that way we can get a healthy and improved society. So all those things till now we have discussed, that is what are the various type of stress in academic institute, and how stress is affecting our body and mind. Now the last and the important part, that is the more of a practical part. All those things that I have discussed till now, some there's something are research part, people have researched, something are like academic part, the biology, the hormone, the sympathetic system, though all those things are medical part. So all those things, now you may ask, okay, I understand that everything, okay, the stress happening because of this, but how to manage? And again, so for the manage, we have like 2 or 3 situation we have to think. If any stressful situation happen, okay, can I ignore it? So then I have to ignore. Can I change the thing? Then I have to change. I cannot do anything about it, so then I have to get away from that. So we will discuss how to reduce stress in immediate setup, and in immediate setup, after that in long term approach. In long term approach, how we can handle the stressful situation. So first, the immediate setup. Stress is right now happening, so you cannot do the long term approach, it will take time, maybe month. So there are 2 very quick method that you can do. It is very practical, it is regularly followed in all the western universities. So that is, one is box breathing and one is time boxing anxiety. So box breathing, it is very much similar to the pranayam, the yoga that nowadays it is in very much in news, and people are promoting this both from government and from other side also. The so the box breathing is inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, then again hold for 4 seconds. So that is the rule of 4, and that way you do it 3 to 4 times. So that will reduce your vagus, that will increase your vagal nerve stimulation, and vagus nerve is one of the important parasympathetic nervous system. So that way your parasympathetic system get activated. It is more or less similar with the pranayam, Anulom Vilom, Kapalbhati. You can name it differently, but more or less this breath holding, inhale and exhale for a longer time, not the rapid breathing, slowly breathing. So this 4 second, it is like arbitrarily. You can increase also if you can do. So from 4 to 6, or maybe from 10 seconds you can hold, and that way you will activate your parasympathetic nervous system. And as we have already discussed, the parasympathetic nervous system makes you cool, calm. And if you do it regularly, regular basis, so like your sympathetic system, which is always activated, so it will get off sometimes, and that will also help in reducing your stress. So one important tactics that you can do it, and nothing is needed, no machine, uh, no instrument, nothing is needed. The box breathing is very easy, you can do it anywhere. So box breathing you can do. The second one important type of like stress management, that is time boxing anxiety or scheduled worry. Scheduled worry means you may working and some stressful situation happen, or something which you think that it need problem, or it needs some discussion. So you, what you do, you schedule it. Suppose 15-minute times you make a time, like after like your day off, or after your work is off, or there is no class, so that time you will fix the 10 to 15 minutes. That time you jot it down if the worries or anxiety pop up, so you will think about it on that scheduled time. So you will do work and you will not think about the problem or the worries or the anxiety that time, rather you scheduled it. So what happened when you scheduled your worry? So like you are working right now, it is Okay, it is 11:45. So right now it is 11:45, and your other colleague, he gives you 10-20 papers and told you you have to check it, and it is an extra work. So what to do? So right, and then you may be working on some project, and this extra work happened, and you started worrying that what to do. I am right now working on this thing, and he said I have to check these papers. So rather than that, you delayed it, you scheduled it for some other time, and that way your brain stop doing anxiety or stop activating your sympathetic system. So this is the immediate part. Now we'll gradually go to the long term approach. So the physiology protocol, so how you will have reduced sympathetic activation and increase your parasympathetic mind. So that is 3-to-1 rule for sleep. So what you will do, you are like we have discussed few slides back, that you are always on. So that will not do. So 3 hours before bed, no heavy meals or no alcohol. 2 hours before bed, no work email, no intellectual debate, no discussion. So you'll stop. And 1 hour before bed, no screen, no mobile, not checking laptops. So if this 3-to-1 rule before sleep, that will help in increase your sleep structure. That will also activate your sleep structure. Like it will not activate, it will normalize. Probably it is not normal right now because of the stressful situation. So that way, if you have good amount of sleep, so it will also help you reduction in your sleep. And another very important that it is also promoted from the government and from the institute also, the movement means walking or exercise. It is understood that exercise, it is not for all of us, it is not possible to do regular exercise, and even it is not encouraged to do vigorous exercise to build your muscles and torso, and it's not like that. The exercise means the basic exercise, maybe the running, maybe walking. Another very important part which I am telling from my practical point of view, because few of my patients told me they get tremendous benefit from that, that is swimming. If it is possible, not for every one of us it is not possible to do swimming. Swimming is also a very good exercise. And any type of exercise, swimming, running, walking, skipping, that will release BDNF. So BDNF is brain derived neurotic factor, and this BDNF, it is also help in reducing our stress, and it is also activate our prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex we have discussed, which is important part of our cognition. So brisk 15-minute walk after lunch or maybe after dinner, so that reduce our fatigue, reduce our stress level. And even in research we get 20 minutes of work every day, it is as effective as mild anxiolytic. Anxiolytic is a drug which we used to prescribe if a patient comes to us with stress, so we give mild anxiolytic to reduce the stress. But if you don't want to take medicine and want to handle the stress by yourself, so what you can do, you can do the 20 minute of walk, just brisk walk. So that will also help you reducing in your stress. Next, assertive communication. Now, although it is very simple to say, very simple to understand, but it's very difficult to practically, because what I have seen also in my career, although I am telling you, I am describing you, if it is possible for you, so you can use this assertive communication. Assertive communication means more work, extra load, how to avoid it. So that is the one mnemonic is DR equation. So DR means describe that with some example it is written, like if you don't want to do extra work, so you will describe that I have some other works this week. Or maybe express that you are feeling overwhelmed, you are feeling fatigued, so you cannot do. Or maybe assert, you directly say no. And if reinforce means if I take it on, the quality of the work will suffer, and as a whole, as the institute or as a department, it will it will not get the optimum outcome what we need. So if you reframe it, it is not being selfish or not working for the department. You are protecting your energy so that we can channelize it in a good and in a productful and in productive manner. So you can do it the dear man equation, the assertive communication, saying face to face directly, you have problem, you are feeling fatigue, you cannot do it right now. So that way you can also like reduce your stress level. Next, the environmental changes. What environmental changes? So number one, maybe there are toxic colleagues, so they are not working and they are putting their work onto you. So what you can do, like you can limit your exposure with them, or you can detach from them, and you can also document your problem, so that if anything happen in future, you can show it that how these things progress. And then strategic delegation means you make a group and you people divide the work, and you know each other's strength and weakness, and that way you create the work profile that who will do this type of work and who is the best suitable person for this type of work. And if you delegate the work based on the strength and weakness, so the work quality will be better, and not everyone will get stressed, because or not someone, if he gets more amount of work, so he will get stressed. And if you delegate in equally, or maybe based on the strength and weakness profile of the people working together, so then also sorry then also it is then also there will be reduction in stress. And the third one is the workplace psychology. So workplace psychology, what happens that if the desk is cluttered, it also cluttered your mind. So you can add green plants, or you can use warm lighting, you can like systematize your desk, so that way also your like stress level will reduce by changing your environment. Next important long-term part, that is cognitive rhythm. Cognitive rhythm is the 50-10 rule. 50-10 rule means 50 minutes of deep work, no phone, no email, complete focus on your research or administration, and then 10 minutes of break. And the break is active break. You stretch, you hydrate, you look out the window, you walk a little. So that way it prevents your fatigue, it maintains the high decision making quality, and it will also help in doing the productive work. So what happened, the when you will think that you are in stress, so that is the, if there is insomnia, persistent insomnia, insomnia means not sleeping at night, uh, even after the exhaustion, you worked hard, but even it is you are not getting sleep. Or maybe anhedonia, you are totally losing pleasure in day-to-day activities, or maybe panic attack during lecture. So these are all red flag signs. So how to rapid de-escalation in this situation? So that is called the psychological first aid. Sorry, psychological first aid. So what happened? So it is the stop protocol. So stop. What are you doing? Take a deep breath, maybe the box breathing. Then observe your physical sensation, and then proceed with one single highly manageable action. If you are like many things in once have to do, so then you stop everything you are doing. After taking a deep breath, you take rest yourself, you reduce your heart rate, your breathing pattern, then you proceed with one manageable action at a time, and that way you will do the rapid de-escalation. Next important another thing what may happen to you, that is post traumatic growth in the academy. So what happened, two I am giving two of the situation, and I'm telling how to reframe it. This we have already discussed the physical part, physically how we will manage the stress. Now the psychological part, how we'll manage the stress by changing our mindset or reframing. So if there is a rejection in your journal, if there is you did not get the grant, so then what you will do, you'll check that maybe there is problem in methodology, maybe there is some error in my side, but it is not like that your career is over or maybe you are not incompetent. Okay, so you are reframing what happened, or maybe there is a student evaluation happened and students get a low number or less number. So it is maybe you it is not because of like you are a bad teacher, you are not a good communicator, maybe there are some miscommunication, maybe there are something that have to be changed, that have to improve. That way you would reframe your mind, and that way you believe every situation, everything that is happening, that is not the end of your life, end of your career, or end of your identity. Rather than it is just a situation, and in this situation, what you have to do, that you have to reframe it and you have to like correct it. How to correct? That way you will reframe inside your mind. So so that our key concept here is that the adversity, it should not break you. Okay, so through true growth when happens, like you go through it and you change the pathway through it, neither avoid it or not get away from it. So that way we understand the resilience ecosystem. So one is the changing of mindset, changing or reframing the stressful situation, and the physiological things that we have discussed, like the sleep pattern, the exercise pattern, and the box breathing, the scheduled time modi. So this is the physiological changes. And the environment means enforcing, like restricting your boundary, the dear man approach, saying directly no or telling that I have work. Okay, and also like changing your environment, putting plant, or the cognitive role, like the 50 minutes of work and the 10 minutes of rest. So that way all those three things, if we do simultaneously, continuously, so that will create the resilience ecosystem, and that way you can get both healthy body and healthy mind also. So that is the last slide of today's discussion, 30 days of maintenance schedule. So what you can start with that, in week one you can do the like box breathing and the exercise regularly. Then next week, like you make your boundary, that way we can do. And the third week you can like delegate task, the dear man approach. And from the next week you can do the like ecosystem support, the group you make, you create the boundary, you discuss the problems. That way you make yourself a good productive employee. Also you make time for yourself, and also the stress which is happening right now, which is hindering your brain and body, so that will also reduce through this. So that much for today's discussion, and thank you all for your time and patience. Now if you have any question, then we can discuss.
Sir, um, good morning, sir.
Good
Hello,
morning.
sir. And I'm Sujata from Bojredi Engineering College for Women. Okay. And if anybody gets kind of panic attack, can't breathe, okay, go breathlessness kind of thing, what would be the first aid we are supposed to do? Because I have seen students also going nervous, fidgeting, and sometimes panic attack also. They cry and something happens to them, and they couldn't breathe also properly. So, what kind of no the very first aid we can give them?
Okay, thank you. It's very good, and I think it's a practical question. Many times in my institute also, I have seen students with panic attack. So first thing, we have to check the severity of panic attack. So panic attack, if it is mild, means there are
Okay.
mild, moderate, it is very difficult for you to understand. But for panic attack, we can see two things: whether the panic attack is under control of the person's, or it is not under control. If the panic attack is not under control of the person, then definitely you have to take help from the doctor or maybe psychologist, and you might need some medicine to reduce the panic attack. But if the other
No, the very first thing what we can do, like taking to the doctor, it takes some time, no. To the patient, what are we supposed? How should we react or make them comfort? I mean, or if they go breathlessness, I heard somebody told like saying like keeping one cover, polythene cover, and we need to blow air into it. That will do, sir. I mean, is that the could be the no the temporary no recuperation like it is not a recovery. It is like no, temporary relief or from this.
Ma'am, I'm coming to that point. So
Yes, sir.
I already discussed that if it is not under your control, then you have to take help. But if it is your control,
Okay.
then what you can do, or maybe in immediate situation. So many times, or maybe most of the time, the panic attack happens because of the situation.
Okay.
Situation means, suppose I'm giving an example. The student, whenever she uh, goes to the classroom, and there she see some teachers, and that time she gets panic. So you have to take out from that situation. Or maybe
Okay.
someone getting panic during the exam time, or in exam hall, or maybe going to the lab, and in labs he's getting the panic attack. In other areas
Yeah.
he's perfectly normal. So then you have to take out her from that place. So that is one important part. Excuse me. So sorry. uh, so you have to take that person out of the situation where the panic attack is happening, and take him or her to the cool calm environment. Cool calm environment means
Okay.
where temperature is normal, maybe a AC room or cold room. Okay, and there is not much of noise, not much of distraction, not much of people. Many times there is one disorder also, psychiatric, where people used to get in crowded place, they used to get that panic attack. So many people hearing of sound or noise or maybe multiple voice, that can also lead to this panic attack. So we'll keep that person out of the situation, out of the environment, and keep him in or her in cool and calm environment, and we'll keep out of the sound and other things. And then we'll ask this breathing, because this breathing system, what happens, it activates the parasympathetic system, and that way we can reduce a little bit the panic
Okay.
part.
Okay. Thank you so much. Well
Sir,
said. Thank you so much.
yes, yes. I think thank you for your valuable enlightenment sessions on stage management. So I have one question from you. That is the what is the most effective way, effective daily habit to reduce the stress? Can you explain something, sir?
Sorry, what is the effective?
What is the most effective daily habit to reduce the stress?
Most effective daily habit. Okay.
Yes.
So it's a very good question, and nowadays it is also in paper also. Like FIFA World Cup just ended, and that time also I used to read the newspaper also about the daily lifestyle of the footballer. So they are performing in world stage, and that is also a very much stressful situation if you consider our lifestyle and our work compared to their lifestyle and their work, because the whole world is watching them, and people have expectation, the country, whole country has expectation. So all the players, the football players, and in our country also, all the other sports also, so they always live in stressful situation. So in that situation, as you asked that what is the best daily habit, so best daily habit as per them, and I also agree with that, the best daily habit is having a good amount of sleep. So they used to sleep 10 hours. I don't know, it is, if it is possible for you all people, if you have a good sound sleep for at least 10 hours, it will help. It will help in reducing stress and reducing many other disorder also, not only stress. It will help in rebuilding your body, rebuilding your muscles, and whatever damage happens throughout the day in sleep, but it will help. So I request all of you to have a good sleep without any thinking or without any have preoccupation inside mind that I have to do it that or I have to check the mails and phone and other things. Good night, good amount of sleep, it will help reducing in sleep. 10 hours is much, they are doing 10 hours, maybe 8 hours is also okay.
Good afternoon, sir. I have a question. I'm Dr. Shubhankar. Okay. So, sir, my point is that, sir, in some Western country, they are now talking about this mental health in school, colleges, even the offices. There are some countries where even in weekend you cannot send emails. Okay, but if you talk, if we think about our India, okay, there are the pressure and stress level is increasing in school colleges. Let us say schools, particularly because all the English medium schools students are overburdened. Okay, but what we can do as an academician, let us say in school or colleges, I can do something personal, like sleep and all that. But in our school or colleges, there should be some workshop or some regular classes, mental well-being or stress management. Why it is not part of our curriculum? Let us say a regular interval. I want your opinion and suggestions on that. What can be done? What we can do as a academician for ourselves as well as our student.
It's a good question and it should be, but you, as we all know, that not all the decision, all the things it's in our hand. But we can say from the medical education in West Bengal University of Health Science in MBBS curriculum, MBBS and MD, both undergraduate and postgraduate medical curriculums. It is in West Bengal and it is advised by the NMC, the National Medical Commission, all over the India. It is regular to do this psychiatry or like psychological workshop and gatekeeper training and resilience building. So in our medical setup in MBBS and MD we used to do, but I am not sure about the other, like in engineering and in other institute what is happening. But for the teachers, I think in India, I'm talking about Indian perspective, Western perspective, it's okay. But in Indian perspective, the teachers are maybe regularly they are getting trained to identify if there is problem in the students. But that again is problem. The teachers they may do their own workshop to identify problem in the students, but they many times forget about themselves. And today's discussion is all about that. That we identify problem in our student, we put our emotion on how to well-being of the students, and many times we forget well-being of ourselves. So yes, it is, and in my opinion, like in like big institute, they can keep psychiatrists or psychologists, or maybe arrange this regular type of workshop on many a times reducing the work burden. Like last night or probably day before last night, I'm reading one article. It has been published in the Norway or Sweden, that Scandinavian country. So they are saying that it is okay that we are doing workshop and other things, but it is also like helpful. It will be helpful if we reduce the work burden. Like why to increase the work burden and then you take psychiatrists and psychologists to check the mental health, rather than you reduce the work burden. That way you will not get into stress. So that is again like this is the duty of the management or the government. So let's hope that they will listen and they will do something, so that the overall as a society we
Okay, sir. I have a question. I believe I can ask now. So thank you so much for this lovely presentation and the questions by the participants also. They were like amazing. I also have one question, sir. In the previous answer to Biman's question, you said that like it's all right to sleep for 10 hours, right? And if not possible, then 8 hours is also okay. Many people now say that like we professionals, as we are into work, and we also have our household chores to attend to, especially for women who are in professions. So now what happens is that we have our burden of office burden of, like, especially we are academicians, we have a lot of things to take care of, evaluating our students, preparing the lessons. Not only that, we are also engaged in, like, writing papers, publications, also, thinking about organizing workshops of this kind. And at the same time, we also have our household chores, our family members to take care of. In that case, sir, like, our sleep pattern is not always like, 10 hours or 8 hours at a go. It breaks in between. Right. Whenever we get some time in the afternoon, say like during holidays, we do go for sleep, or in the morning, the like very early in the morning, around 2:30 to, sorry, the 3:30 to 4, around, our sleep breaks, and then again we wake up, do something. So, like, there are two things I wanted to ask. As a personally, sometimes I also feel that if I oversleep, I feel like, oh my god, I have oversleep. Something is wrong with me, and maybe I'm not very serious with my work, or what's wrong with me. Or at the same time, is it all right to sleep at a stretch for long, without guilt, without work? Because always at the back of your mind, there's some incomplete work that needs my attention and everything. So in that case, how do we balance this entirely, and live without thinking much about the pending works that we have?
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And that is a very much practical question. I think many of the listeners who are present in this discussion, they are also facing the same. And as I have already discussed, that this guilt feeling that if I'm sleeping much or sleeping at a stretch, so maybe I'm missing my work. So that is, again, it is a cognitive distortion. If you are sleeping at a stretch and if you are sleeping long, so sleeping long means if you are sleeping 16 hours, 14 hours, that may be a problem. But 8 to 10 hours sleeping, so nothing is going to, like, earth will still rotate, instead will still work, and everything will still be fine. But it is inside our mind, we believe that the catastrophe happened, the bad thing happens, I'm incompetent. So this is our cognitive distortion. We feel that it is going to happen. It is not going to happen if you think it rationally and logically. So so you should, in my suggestion, that you should sleep 8 to 10 hours at a stretch and without any break. And like in break in between sleep, like what you are discussing, that we sleep 2 hours in the afternoon or maybe in the some other time, so it will not much helpful to, like, replenish or to our body repairment. So at a stretch sleep will be more helpful compared to break sleep, number one. And number two, another question, that it cannot be possible for
All
me.
right.
It can possible that I cannot sleep because of so much of work. So what is the other option? So many times it is not possible. Maybe it is easy to say that you sleep for 10 hours, but as you told, ki, as working woman, I have to do household chores and I have to take time for the family and do other things also. So it is not possible for sleep. So what I forgot his name, Biman, what Mr. Biman Mondal, he asked that what is the most important daily habit. So that's why I told sleep. But if you cannot like sleep for long hours, so the second important option that you can do if you are not sleep properly, so what you can do, you can encourage or you can increase your social communication. So if you spend time with your loved ones, so that will also reduce your sympathetic system and increase your parasympathetic or reduce your stress level. So that another thing you can do. Like nowadays, it is not popular
Okay.
in Kolkata or in West Bengal, but in southern part and in Bombay also, like the institute, they also like in like arrange this social gathering or stand up comedy or maybe some other like DJ night and other things. So to increase the social
Hmm.
gathering,
Open mic like that. Yeah, yeah.
open mic.
Many institutes have it.
Thank you, sir,
Thank you, sir.
for your insight on knowledge, state management. I truly appreciate your time and knowledge, sir. Actually, thank you once again, sir. Sir, one question I have just made that because as you doctor on the stage management, how can we recognize the early signs of stress before it becomes serious?
Okay, so I mentioned in one of my slide also.
It's right also, yes, but it
Just
is if you just one line, sir, actually.
uh-huh.
But if I say science of a human body, we find actually sometimes.
So for early signs of sleep, like sleep disturbance is one of the important early sign. That if there is
Okay.
sleep disturbance, and as Madam asked, like at 3 o'clock, I certainly get up, and I am thinking that there are some unfinished of work. Okay,
Okay.
but it is a myth. It's a guilt feeling because the society puts us in that way that we have to do work, and we don't have to take care of our body, our health. Okay, so that is again a important sign of stress. If you are early wakening early at the morning. So that is one. Next important part is like the anhedonia. Anhedonia means you don't feel like it's working, or like we used to work and we work with pleasure. But if you are in stress, then you will think the work as a burden. Like, because I have to stay with my job, I have to pay like my EMI and other things. That's why I am working. If you think that way, that means you are in stress. If you are not loving your work the way you do, that means you are in stress. And the next third part that usually we get that, and some other madam has asked the question, that panic attack. If you are getting frequent panic attack, frequent palpitation, suppose restlessness, suppose choking, or maybe sweating, or shivering of your hands, or multiple times you are going to like toilet. So these are early signs of stress. And one bad coping management that people used to do, that I have also told during discussion, that if you are taking so much of cigarettes or drinking alcohols, so that is again one type of stress. People who are in stress, they used to drink or smoke or take some other type of addiction to cope up with the stress. So that is again one early sign of the stress.
Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for your valuable speech. Thank you.
Sir, I have a quick question, and this is a little out of context. Um, but how does the power nap work? I mean, we talk about sleep, right? The 10 hours, 7 hours, the sleep cycle should be there. But what is the concept of power nap? How does it stimulate, our brain?
Okay. I understand, because what I have told, the power nap is telling the opposite. Okay, right. And okay, I understand why. Okay, so power nap, this is again another concept, not the concept what I have told right now. So power nap, what they are emphasizing, that what I told, that long and stretchable sleep is good for your body reforming or repairment of your body problem. But power nap, what they are saying, if any situation where you cannot sleep at a stretch, maybe you have very like huge work and huge deadline, and you are not sleeping that much. So if you are doing power nap for 1 2 hours or maybe 15 minutes, that will also help little bit of repairment. Power nap or sleep, you can compare it with the like repair of the street, the roads. Okay, so if like normal road, so very less traffic, so you have plenty of time to repair the road. But if something like highway, and like vehicles are going every day, almost day and night, so it is not possible to stop the vehicle for 6 to 8 hours.
Right.
So that time what you will do, you will like stop the vehicle for maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour, you do little bit of repairment, then you again pass the vehicle, and then again 30 minutes or 1 hour you will stop it, and then again you will do the repairment. So
Right.
those two things are for two different situations. Ideally, you should stop for 8 to 10 hours, but if it is not possible at all, and right now in our situation, our condition, our work structure, maybe not permit us to sleep for 8 to 10 hours. I don't know how many of you sleep for 10 hours at a stretch. Maybe nobody.
10
So
hours
that
is, I'm sure nobody does it
nobody
except.
does. So that's why, okay. So if it is not possible, so second best option is to go for the power nap.
Okay, so it's not advisable to have power naps on a regular stretch.
No, it is not.
Once in a while. Once in a while, it's okay.
Once in a while it's okay, and if it is not possible to have like long time of sleep, then it's like there is no other option what to do. That time power nap is okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I would
Thank you,
like to ask a question here. Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Yes. We all know that doctors and medical professionals have a very stressful life because their workload is huge. Um, you are in the medical field, so you know how it is. Like are you all into long hours of sleep? Do you get that time, or is it that you manage with the power nap?
So one recent statistics I'm saying before answering the questions, doctors are living 5 years less than the normal population in India because of this stressful situation. So see, it is advisable to have long nap, but practically, okay, doctors they also don't have the like luxury to sleep for 8 hours at a stretch. So we used to do power nap. For myself, I'm telling for like what I do power nap whenever I'm like going to from one clinic to another clinic. So in between in the road when I'm traveling, that time I used to sleep. So this is the best option what we can do in current like situation.
True, true. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. One second.
Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank
And
you, sir.
Thank
I'm
you,
out
sir.
now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much, sir.